Policymakers are currently discussing a proposed Department of Labor fiduciary rule. As that conversation continues in Congress and has been ongoing for the last 5 years, I wanted to take a little bit of time today and talk about how do you determine, or do you actually need financial advice? I'm Roger Abel, owner and wealth advisor at Premier Investments and Wealth Management. The goal of this channel is to take you behind the wealth, to give you insights into the world of personal finance, investing, and wealth management, and provide you with information to make informed decisions about your money. The first thing many people ask themselves is, do I actually need an advisor? And one of the things we've done at Premier Investments is we've figured out a way to easily explain this to a client, and we break it down into 3 questions to ask yourself. If you answer no to any of these questions, then you probably are a candidate to engage with some type of wealth advisor. The 3 questions are pretty simple. So as you're watching this video, ask yourself, do I actually have the time to commit to handling all of my investment and financial affairs? There's a famous person named Malcolm Gladwell who actually came out and said it takes about 10,000 hours to become an expert at any one craft. So the question is, are you willing to commit 10,000 hours to become an expert, or is it more profitable for you to just delegate this to somebody else to help you with this part of your life? So time, do you have the time to do this? The second question is, do I have the knowledge? Many people think they can go get the knowledge quickly, and in some cases they can, but many times people don't have the knowledge to do this. And quite frankly, the third question is, do you have the desire? Do you have the desire to manage your money on an ongoing basis and keep up with it? Statistics tell us that most people spend more time planning their vacation than they do working on their finances. So that tells me most people don't have the desire to actually deal with this. So if you're out there and you've answered no, I don't have the time, the desire, or the knowledge to handle my investing and financial planning portion of my life, then you should think about delegating it. It's similar to changing your own oil. For me, I don't have the time to do it. I have zero desire to do it, and I have no knowledge to do it. Could I figure it out? Yes, but in most cases, it's more beneficial for me to delegate that task in my life. For most people, engaging with a financial advisor or wealth advisor doesn't replace them, but what happens is we actually work alongside together and we build a financial plan that works in concert with your values, your desires in the future, and what your goals are going forward. Once you've come to the decision that you want to utilize a financial advisor, the next step is trying to decide which advisor, and I have some tips as to how to go about that. One of the first things to consider, does this person have a support staff, or are they a solo practitioner? One isn't better or worse, it's just what you're looking for. If you're looking for a very high level of service, you're probably going to want to find a firm that has multiple staff people to help with your ongoing needs. So if your solo practitioner is on vacation or has an emergency, there's a backup person to take care of you regardless of what's going on in that individual's life. The second question is, how does the advisor get paid? Do they work on a fee for service basis? Do they work on a commission model? Do they work on both? This is definitely something you'd want to find out, and make sure you understand how the advisor is getting compensated. All advisors are getting compensated. If they tell you they're not, they're lying to you. Nobody works for free. One model isn't necessarily better than the other, they're just different. And one model, whether fee-based or a commission model, may fit your individual circumstance better. But just make sure you understand how the advisor is going to get paid and in what capacity they are actually working for you. Also, as you're exploring the financial professional you'd like to work with, you should find out, is this person a captive representative, or do they work for one specific company where there might be a conflict of interest? Utilize those products versus all the other products that are available. You see this many times in the old agency insurance type situations where they have company specific products, and there's some conflict of interest to have the advisor use those products versus others. One thing I really like to talk to people about is if at the first meeting, the advisor you're interviewing talks to you about a product or performance or gets right into the sales pitch per se, I would run. I would see that as a red flag. The financial planning process should really revolve around what your goals and priorities are for your unique situation, so you can get some really great personalized advice. And at the first meeting, unless you've known this person for a really long time, it'd be very difficult for a good financial advisor to tell you what they would do with their money if they were you, without getting a lot of background information. You should find out what licenses your advisor has. An easy way to go is you can go to FINRA Broker Check. They'll tell you what license your individual advisor you're interviewing has, if they have any past history, what their employment history is, and there's a lot of good information as you're trying to research and do background checks on the individuals that may or may not be managing your money. And then ultimately, you need to figure out and set what your expectations are, and make sure your expectations align with the advisor you're working with. If you're desiring to see your advisor 2 or 3 times face-to-face a year, you should definitely make sure that that aligns with how the advisor runs their practice. There's a lot of good financial advisors out there, and I talk to people a lot about relationship building in the first meeting, and that what's really going to provide the good core for a great ongoing relationship with somebody is, what's your relationship like with that person? If the person that you're interviewing to be your advisor, you don't trust them and they don't trust you, ultimately, it's just not going to be a great experience for either one of you, and you're probably better off just looking for a better fit. I think that should be the first meeting is, hey, how do we determine whether we're a fit for each other or not? Also, during that process, find out about their broker-dealer or their registered investment company. What kind of online access do they have? What kind of technology do they have? How often do the statements come out? All of those different things are going to lead to just a better overall experience for yourself if you know what you're getting into before you do it, per se. The last thing any advisor wants is buyer remorse from a client. We just want everybody to be upfront and know exactly what they're going to get from a service standpoint, from a technology standpoint. And I'll tell you, not all companies are the same from a technology standpoint. Some companies have just really robust technology platforms that you can lean on. So if you're a person who loves technology, you definitely should find out what offerings this advisor has from a technology standpoint. Again, there's really no right or wrong answer as to how to interview an advisor. These are just some of the tips that I would want to walk through, and it's a lot of the stuff that we cover at our first meeting when we're having consultations with people at Premier Investments and Wealth Management. If you're looking to get an advisor, you can click the link in the description or go to btwellshow.com. We'll connect you with one of our advisors. At our firm, our first meeting is strictly a relationship building meeting. It's complimentary. We don't charge anything at that first meeting. The goal of that meeting is to make sure that we're both a good fit for each other. And after that, we'll move on and talk about our 5-step planning process and how it takes you from meeting 1 to the point in time in the future when we could tell you what we would do with your money. And part of the goal of our process is to really do a good job of putting ourselves onto your side of the table and seeing this from your point of view. And the better job we can do trying to learn what your point of view is, the better and more prudent recommendations that we can actually provide to people. I want to thank everybody for watching. Hope everybody has a great day.